Taft Price talks with our garden expert Paul James this morning about planning for fall for 2 Works for You in the Garden.
Good morning, welcome back to In the Garden. And you know, Paul, as we're moving into September, we start thinking about that transition from summer into fall. We're waiting for some cooler temperatures. We have to think about the same thing in our garden. We can kind of hold on to summer a little bit longer, or we can start thinking about planning for the fall.
Exactly. So what you see here, these are all annuals. So you've got beautiful angelonias, celosia, ornamental peppers, marigolds, pentas. There's all kinds of stuff that you could plant and get another 4, 6, 8 weeks of color, depending, of course, on when the first hard freeze shows up. Because most of these will succumb to that first freeze. You know, it's a tough call. Do you want all this blaze of color, which is absolutely gorgeous, knowing that these plants are going to say bye-bye? That's one choice you can take.
Okay.
The other choice is to go with the true harbingers of fall, the biggest one, of course, being mums.
Yes.
And I've got some to show you.
Okay, Paul, if we're ready to get rid of those summer colors and we want to go right into fall, what better way than to pick the mum?
Absolutely. Great plant. Does really well here in containers, in the ground, in hanging baskets. You know, there's just so many different ways to use them. Now, you'll see here, these aren't in color yet.
Okay.
But if you look closely, you can see oodles of tight buds. This is a stage at which I actually like to buy them.
Okay.
So long as they're clearly labeled and you know which color, because there's nothing worse than wanting all yellow and wind up with a white one, or an orange. Not hard to plant, not hard to take care of. The weird thing is people think of these as strictly annuals. So they plant them, they enjoy them well into the fall. By the way, the flower buds are hardy to at least 27.
Okay.
Sometimes they'll handle a little bit colder. But they are, in fact, perennials. So you can plant these in the ground. They'll die back, cut them off, then they'll start to come back in spring, and you give them 2 or 3 haircuts throughout the spring up until July 1st.
Okay.
After July 1st, you stop shearing, and you can literally shear them into this form if you like. You stop after July 1st, that'll give them time to set these flower buds so that come September, they'll start to open up.
So this is what they're going to look like throughout the spring and summer as long as you keep them trimmed. So
exactly.
Just a beautiful plant itself, even without the flowers.
They're really attractive plants. Native to Asia primarily, but so well adapted here. And you know, we grow thousands and thousands of these here at our production facility because they're such a wonderful plant. And again, you know, you're going to get, you know, I mean, again, depending on weather, you're likely to get a good 8 weeks of color. And so it's not too early to go ahead and get them in the ground now. They can handle the heat as well as the cool temperatures.
So since they can handle the heat, do we have any problem with shade versus sun, or are they pretty hardy anywhere?
They need some sun to really color up well. So try to give them 4, 5, 6 hours of sun if you can. Otherwise, they're just not going to develop a whole lot of flower buds. They'll still grow, they just won't be as colorful.
Okay, so if we have these in the ground and we're thinking about using these as a perennial, whenever we get that first hard freeze, 27, 28 degrees, and we see that they really start to die off, is that when we cut them back, or what do we do at that point?
Ideally, go ahead and wait until they really turn brown all the way around, which they will do if we get a really hard freeze. And again, you know, that varies tremendously around here. When you tell me, when are we likely to get the first freeze? Sometimes, you know, these will continue to produce well into Christmas time, depending on the weather. Now, as the flowers do fade, go ahead and pinch them off, deadhead them a little bit, and that'll encourage even more buds to develop.
Well, you can't go wrong with the mum this time of year, and it just screams fall across our area.
It does. It's one of my mom's favorites.
It's one of my mums as well. Maybe we should get our mums a mum.
We got to do that.
We've got to do that, yes.
Yeah, and
okay.
That really was about as corny as we've been in a long time.
But it wouldn't be our segment unless we put enough corniness out there, right?